But Nick, let's start with a brilliant 7-star display from Spain. I mean, let's focus on the reasons why they can win the World Cup, because before we talked about, oh, maybe they haven't got that natural goal scorer, maybe these young players can step up and, really take on the mantle. And that's exactly what they did, right, against Costa Rica. And again, no disrespect to Costa Rica. Spain are going to have a lot tougher tests at this World Cup. But the way that Pedri, Gavi, Asensio, Olmo just kind of all clicked into place, and then others off the bench as well, right? It was incredible to watch and kind of makes me think we may have slept on Spain, because this was a team that got to the semis of the Euros. And I'm thinking now, just how far can they go in this tournament? I know it's the first game, but that was impressive against Costa Rica. Last
summer, when we were all missing out on the U.S. being at the Olympics, and a lot of programs were playing young players because it's the Olympics, Spain was playing young players as well who were also on their first team. And they got a taste of winning. They got a taste of going to get a silver medal and playing against Brazil. Even their overage players were players like a Marco Asensio. And I just think they have bred themselves into this. Their vision has been concrete, not unlike John Herdman, who we'll talk about in a minute, in a very different way. Luis Enrique has taken a lot of guff. He famously, as a Barcelona guy, did not call up a single Real Madrid player for one break, which I think is like the top banter of all time, perhaps. But let me finish by saying, to pass it back to you, without even talking about this game, Kepa Arrizabalaga, some of these guys are hurt, Jose Gaya, Sergio Ramos, Marcos Alonso, Thiago Alcantara, Sergio Roberto, Rodrigo, all didn't even need to be there. They didn't even need those guys. That's Spain, I think, because they haven't performed the way they did for a solid 6 years at the turn of the last decade. We maybe have kind of slept on the fact that they're always good.
Yeah, you're right. We've forgotten how good they are, I think, with the sort of emergence. Obviously, Belgium, Germany getting back on track a little bit, England, Italy winning the Euros, France winning the World Cup. They've kind of just gone on the back burner, haven't they? And behind the scenes, Luis Enrique's just been brewing this team, and Ferran Torres was great. Obviously, an interesting fact that he's dating Luis Enrique's daughter, which was pretty interesting to hear about on air today. So, yeah, it was just incredible to watch, right, Andy? And I think no matter who they were playing today, if you play that way, they are going to score goals and create chances against most teams in the World Cup, right? So how far do you think they can go in this tournament? What's the situation for Spain?
Yeah, I would still want to see them do it against a team that's not Costa Rica. And the only reason for that is because of the way that Spain played, the way they ratcheted up the press very early on. You get the early goal, and then Costa Rica have to take every chance in the world, and then the press becomes even more effective. And so it almost fed into itself. And obviously credit to Spain for having the press that is that rabid and that effective that they can win the ball back where they do, create scoring chances so easily. That was the thing that was most impressive, was they would win the ball back 30, 35 yards from goal, and it was one pass, the ball was in behind, and then, okay, we got 2 or 3 options in the middle. It looked very, very fluid and quick in the way that I think you would expect a young team to play. But eventually they're going to come up against a team that has a center forward, and they can play the ball long to them. And then Spain, I think, are going to have to figure out how they're going to create scoring chances, because I think without a center forward, once they have to keep some possession and build up slowly and break teams down, I do think they will struggle a little bit. So I do think their potential might be as high as any team in this tournament, but I still think that against certain teams, the floor might get them, and that will ultimately probably be what knocks them out in the knockout rounds. But I could easily see them going to the semifinals now, whereas before that game today, they were probably around a 16, maybe a quarterfinal team for me.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. Nick, the potential of the bracket, if it worked out correctly, is that they could play Brazil in the quarterfinals, which would that would be incredible, right? To see that just going all out. I mean, could you actually see them getting past Brazil, or is that maybe, like Andy said, maybe a step too far at this stage of their development?
No, I think that could become a system versus system game, and it becomes players. I'm confident, guys, that Gavi and Pedri are going to be players we're watching for 10 or 12 years. And they could have, that's the problem, I think, for Spain, is ultimately guys like that are going to have a bad game in a tournament just by the age they are. This is what we see. Will that happen against Brazil? But if they're at their best against Brazil, look, this game was, I want you to flip this on its ear. Have you ever seen a game besides the famous sipping tea game for the U.S., which we know that the quality at that U.S. women, excuse me, we know that the quality at that of depth at that World Cup wasn't as strong. Can you remember a game that was absolutely this time? We're talking 82% possession, 0 expected goals. Unai Simon, Spain's goalkeeper, had more touches than every single Costa Rican starter. I've never seen, I literally have never seen anything like that.
Some of the, I mean, 17 shots to Spain, 0 to Costa Rica, 978 passes from Spain, 94% completion. I mean, Costa Rica just didn't have anything. Like you said, the early goal made a huge difference, and then it was just game over. So for Spain, I'm really high on them right now. I watched them a lot at the Euros. They pushed Italy all the way at the semi-finals, and it looks like they're just taking that next step now of all these dynamic young players who a lot of them play together, right, as well. So
do you think Pep liked that? You think Pep liked that game at all?
Oh, I think that was straight out of the Pep Guardiola / Barcelona playbook, right? That was like peak Barcelona from Pep Guardiola's days. So yeah, we're big on Spain right now.